Hi there, I'm Melinda Elmborg and I'm the previous venture capital investor who got tired of saying no to startups. So I started coaching them instead. I've spent the last 1-2 years coaching startups, especially in data analysis and just understanding their users through data metrics and KPIs. And then I would say the most important tool for doing this is having a dashboard tool. So instead of like sitting and updating your Excel sheets manually, which takes a lot of time, you can get all this data like automatically updated in these beautiful dashboard tools. It's also makes your data accessible because you don't need to ask your tech team for like, hey, can you get this information out for me? It's also especially important for startups because you're moving so fast. You need to have access to facts, to insight about your users, so you can actually make decisions on that rather than like guessing. So if you just want to find out who my winner best dashboard tool is, you can just skip ahead to the last few minutes of this video. Otherwise, if you want to see a review of a couple of different tools and how I got at picking exactly this winner, I recommend you to tag along. So first of all, when I started looking at different dashboard tools, I had a couple of requirements that I needed to be fulfilled for me to be happy with the tool. So first of all, I wanted to have easy, like general dashboards that the startup can share with, for example, investors or other stakeholders. Second of all, I wanted the startup to be able to connect all different kinds of like APIs and their SQL database and whatever data they needed to get in there. So flexibility around that as well. Number 3, it needed to be pretty cheap. Like if you're a startup, you can't spend like thousands and thousands of dollars on a dashboard tool every month. Like that's just not doable for most startups. Number 4, I didn't want SQL to be required to be able to perform any analysis within the tool. I wanted to be more easily accessible. And 5, this is weird and I have to say this because you don't think about it in advance, but you need to have flexibility around dates. And not all dashboard tools allow this. So for example, they let you look at your metrics for last month or last week, but not last 7 days. So some flexibility around that is very important as well. And number 6, very important to be able to combine data from different places. So for example, if you want to calculate your customer acquisition cost, like a super common metric when you're a startup, so then you want to pick up some data from, for example, Facebook. If you're spending money, some marketing money on Facebook, for example, Google AdWords as well, it's an important one. And then you want to take all that marketing spend and divide it by your number of customers or number of new customers. And that number probably comes from your backend or your database. So it's important to be able to take these different data sources and combine it and calculate one metric. So you have real-time access to, for example, your customer acquisition cost. And finally, I can't imagine that I need to say that this is a requirement, but I want the dashboard tool to be in the cloud. I don't want to have to like download a desktop app or something and then it's stuck on my computer. I mean, it should just be in the cloud because the startup has maybe remote teams or they want to have the dashboard up on a screen on the wall. I mean, it shouldn't be stuck in someone's computer. Like, hello, 2002 called and said they want data on premises back. So also very important, pay attention to that. So I looked around, I Googled around, and I found all of these tools that you can see here on the side. I had a look at their demo, and I found 3 tools that fit these requirements, and that was Databox, Chartio, and Clipfolio. So those 3 I went along and I tested with my actual startup clients, and I applied it on their data. So now we're going to look at a more in detail review out of those 3 tools. So let's start with the Databox. Come along.
Databox. It looks like this. They have a very nice design, I would say, nice brand. Let's look at their pricing. It's like this. So if you're a startup, I recommend you to get this 119 euros per month package, because with this one you can connect SQL and databases, which is a requirement for all startups I work with. And the limit is 10 data boards. And let's take a look inside. This is how the data boards, or what they call dashboards, look like. So I just connected my Google Analytics account, and then the next screen was basically this. It's really smooth to get these standard things up and running. So that's very impressive. However, I want to show you here in the data manager. So I've connected a different couple of my accounts, and I want to show you how to get some data from your database. So you go in here to Query Builder and create a custom metric, we call it, and then go in here. And as you see, you need to write an SQL query to get any information out of your database, which is not very accessible for many people, especially business users. So you will kind of depend on your tech team for this. And also there are further limitations that you need to include a date in this query. And also you're limited to 1,000 rows, which means that you need to group, for example, like if you have transactions, you need to group your transactions by date, so I'll show you what this looks like. But since you've grouped it, you can't really create these like nice big tables with multiple columns. So let's first change this to daily values, because otherwise data shows really weird. Run query again. Save. And now we're gonna see what this metric look like in a data board. So we just click add data board here, and it all shows up like this. I also want to show you how, so if we want to take this data and combine it with something else, combine it with Google Analytics, for example, so then we need to go here to calculate it and do a new calculated metric. So this is where you can combine data and do different calculations. So here in your data source, so let's say we want to take the number of transactions that we have divided by maybe the number of sessions in here. So then we get some kind of a conversion rate. And then we can see this month. So we can see over time how it changes. And then we just pull that in here. And there we got it. So that's how easy it is to do the basic stuff. However, when you want to customize this more, you really start to like hit the limit. So I really like Databox for like marketing and sales data, But if you want to also look at your data from your back end about your users, it's very limiting, and I don't recommend that. So the next tool I want to show you is Chartio. So they claim to do powerful analytics made simple, and you're up and running in minutes, and you don't need any SQL knowledge, which I really agree on. And their pricing is $400 per month for startups. So it's more expensive than Databox, but at least you have unlimited charts in dashboards. So let's take a look inside. Here I've logged in. So here are some sample dashboards. As you can see here, they have pretty nice design, a lot of different options. And then I would like to show you here in Explore. So this is where you build charts. So I'm using their demo data for like a random SaaS company. And I'll show you how to do a simple chart. So let's say that we want to look at the number of activities people have taken on this platform monthly for the last 6 months. So what we just do is, like, here we have the activity ID, and then it counts, but we can also do, like, as you can see here, you can also do count and sum and different stuff. But we want to do a count, and then we want to look at it with per day, or per month is better. There we go. And then here in filters, we can also filter on date. So let's say that we only want to see last 6 months. And then we just put that here. And then we just click Run Query. And that's it. And then we can look at it as a line, for example. And there we go. And there we have all the activities. However, like, when it's simple, it also means that it might be a little bit limiting. So for example, if we want to exclude this current month of July because it's not finished yet, well, we can't really do that with these filters, not in a way that it stays relative. So then what we have to do is to go into SQL mode and change it here instead. And then you're kind of dependent on a more technical person. So if you are a technical person, you will think this is fine, but business people will probably not be able to work around this. You also have an advanced mode here that allows you to do a few other things, but it's still pretty technical. And the last thing that I want to show you is data sources. So here we go to data sources and we add a new data source. So here are the options that exist. And as you can see, there are only databases, basically, and almost only SQL databases. So it's like Google Analytics and Google Sheets that stand out here. So if you want to include like any data from a CRM or from Facebook or wherever, you kind of can't have that in Chartio unless you send that data to some of these places or to any of these places and then send it to Chartio. So that is pretty limiting. But for large data sets and SQL databases, Chartio is really great. So next up is Clipfolio, and they say they are the top-rated dashboard on Earth. And it was really through these review sites that I discovered Clipfolio a while back now. Let's look at pricing. So it looks like this. So it's really cheap. Like, you can start out at $29 per month. Usually the clients I work with have like this $49 or $99 per month. So the 99 is limited to 15 dashboards. However, you're unlimited when it comes to number of charts. So that's great. And if you click up here, get started, they'll put you on a 7 days trial. However, I have a link below that you can use to get a 28 days trial instead. So please click that link if you're interested in the Clipfolio. So let's take a little look inside. So this is what it looks like. So it's not, I would say it's less pretty than Databox and Chartio. But there are other advantages. So you have really a lot of alternatives when it comes to design of your dashboard and your charts. And I want to show you, so here we have clips, that is their like name for a chart, really, they call it a clip. I want to show you how to quickly build one. So this is where you arrive. This is the editor where you can edit your chart. So let's do a bar line chart. I guess that's the most common. And here you add your data source. So I've already prepared some examples. So let's say we want to look at our revenue per month. So here we have like when the transaction happened and the price. So then we start with the x-axis, click here on timestamp, and then we go into properties and we need to tell Clipfolio that this is a date. So we go here into date, and then here you can click display format and change the format. So I want to look at monthly, so I pick this one. And then you need to group repeating labels so they don't repeat. There we go. And then in series, here we want to tell Clipfolio what we want to show in our chart. So then we can just click here on price, and then we got our revenue per month. Moreover, like this place here where I inserted the data, it really works as the formula bar in Excel or in Google Sheets. Is very similar actually. So for example, we can do like a sum if. So you who've worked in Excel before, you recognize this formula. And here you get a little help that tells you what you're supposed to put in. So let's say we want to only calculate the revenue of confirmed orders. So then we just put in our condition here, like this, exactly as in Excel. And then sum range, so we want to sum the price. And there we go, 21,000. And then if we want to change here, we can go and change it to currency, for example. So that was very quickly how to build a chart. But you have so much more like freedom here into building whatever like advanced stuff and like segmentation and filters and different ways of treating your numbers. Also, what I really like about this editor is this here, that you can see all your data. It's not like magically just appearing, but you can really see your tables down here. Also, I want to show you the data sources. So if I click create a new data source, and here is the list. So you see such a long list of different data sources, and that's actually not all. Those are the things that they have like pre-settings for, but you have actually even more freedom. So any tool that you're working with that has an API, you can send that data to Clipfolio through this service here. Also, all your SQL databases you can connect with the SQL query, and you're free to write whatever query you want to get like nice tables that you want to build charts on. So I think Clipfolio is really cool, and it's really an all-round tool that can really become like the center for all your company's data.
I hope you like that. Now I want to present to you that our winner is Clipfolio. It's I'm really so pleased while working with this tool, and like there are three main like positive points that I want to like really tell you. So the first one, it's the one where you get like the most data and dashboards for your money. It's like the cheapest one, but at the same time you have unlimited number of data connectors and lots of dashboards, a lot of space to like perform your analytics. Second of all, it's super flexible. I mean, you can really build anything in Clipfolio. It's as flexible as an Excel sheet. It's just that it's real time and maybe even more flexible than an Excel sheet. And third is their customer service. Oh my god, they are amazing. Like the chat, you get responses really fast. So big applaud to the Clipfolio customer service team because they are golden. I've been really pushing their limits. I've been getting a lot of help from them. And then finally, like the only negative point is that it is kind of a learning curve when you work with Clipfolio. So exactly as with Excel, like the flexibility comes with a learning curve that you need to spend some time in it to be really fluent. So that is my only negative point. And also, if you have a data scientist in your team, or you have data that is like more than about 200,000, 300,000 rows in one table, then you might also need to complement Clipfolio with a tool such as Chartio or something similar that is like a bit more powerful because Clipfolio can't take these really huge data sets. But if you're a seed stage startup, you usually don't have that big data sets anyway. So thank you very much for watching this video. So as I told you before, I have a link below where you can get a free, no credit cards needed, 28 days trial of Clipfolio. Usually what they offer is like 7 or 14 days, but because of my fantastic like invite page, you can get a 28 days free trial. Moreover, if you want to check out what other parts you need in your analytics stack, you maybe don't only need a dashboard tool, you also need complementary tools to this, then check out my analytics quiz that you found below. So it's 3 questions and then you get a personal recommendation on the tools that you need for your stack. And finally, if you are curious about what I'm doing other than like doing these kinds of YouTube videos, check out the link to my website below, and don't forget to subscribe, of course. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye!